If you are a coach who wants to grow a business, I have got to introduce you to a client today. Her name is Michelle, Dr. Michelle, we call her, and I want you to meet her. She is a former, is it therapist, Michelle? Is that what I would say? Former therapist?
Yeah, I'm a licensed counselor in Idaho and do family therapy.
Okay. And so she came to us doing that. And I'm going to let her tell you about who she takes care of because when I had the consultation call with her originally, I was like, wow, this work that you are doing. Honestly, I've worked with a lot of therapists. There's a lot of therapists who want to become coaches. And Michelle, I'd love for you to talk about that as well. So maybe you identify as a therapist as you're listening to this right now, or a counselor, or somebody in the mental health field, or actually just in helping professions in general and you're thinking, I think I would like to get out of what I'm doing and transition into coaching, I'd love for you to talk about that as well. So, Michelle, just introduce yourself, tell us what you do, who you help, and anything else that would be helpful for us to know about you.
Sure, thank you. I think we all know parents, maybe we were one of those parents or still are, of kids that just have behaviors that we don't understand, that are outrageous, crazy. I help parents that have kids with really challenging behaviors. And sometimes it's because of adoption, trauma. Sometimes it's just the way that the kids are wired. It could be ADHD, autism, just a lot of things going on in their brain. So I help the parents to understand what's going on in their brain. But more importantly than even understanding, I feel, is I help them know what to do about it. A lot of therapy can help you to understand what's going on, but it might not help you to know how to move out of that. And so that's what I love to do in helping parents, is to give them the tools to know how to make their home more calm, to create safety. A lot of these kids are aggressive. Our parents are afraid of them. And so we bring safety into the home, and then we help the family to grow and carry on.
What amazing, incredible work that you do. And I have to say, you were doing it in the home. You were actually going into people's homes where this situation or situations were taking place, and you were helping at that level, which is to me is wow, you get a gold star for that. That is incredible work that you're doing going into a home where there's already a dangerous situation and a kid that probably doesn't want you there.
Yes, in the area I live in, we went into the homes every time. And I had a team of people that I trained. We used safety behavior management skills. It helped. I'm a fourth degree black belt, so I don't know if that helped
I
or
didn't know
what.
that.
And even now, I still get called occasionally to go to where the family is, and I can spend the first 4 days helping set up the program. Some parents feel like I need to see the situation and that the kids need to see that there's somebody behind it to do the program. I don't feel like that's always necessary, but if that's what makes the parents have more confidence, and then that's what I do. So I still keep those skills sharp. Although I will say that the kids, they're not coming after me.
Yeah.
Like their dysregulation is happening, really doesn't have as much to do with me. I have been told to leave and all of those kind of things.
In nice
And
ways, I'm sure.
oh yes, all kinds of names and gestures.
So, why did you come to us or come to me and entertain just the idea of, I want to shift away from that and into coaching? Tell me about that journey to thinking you wanted to be a coach.
A lot of it had to do with broadening my reach. I
Hmm.
had a good amount of growth and success in the area that I live in, going in the homes and working with families that were typically looking for services for their kids. And I was switching over the whole time, really, that I was doing this. I always had it geared to go out further. I have a book that I wrote, Parenting Emotionally Distressed Kids, and I got my doctorate for that reason, to expand. I really feel like there's the information that I have to share with parents, it should reach a national audience. And I was really struggling with making that shift. There's a big difference between parents that are looking for something, a service for their child to fix their child, than parents that are looking at what can we do to make that change in our home? What can we do to make it better? And I needed help figuring out that message and how to reach that audience. I feel like I had all of the things in place. I just couldn't quite get the spark to get it going.
So you're saying that the people that you are most interested in helping is the parents who are saying, like, I need help. I need to figure out how to change in whatever way that I can support my child better.
Yes, I also understand that most parents, by the time they reach the level of wanting to hire someone to help, there's a little bit of both. Like they are tired and burned out and overwhelmed. And this may be their last hope before they have to send their child out of the home, or they don't know what else to do. And so there's a little bit of still, somebody help me fix this kid. But they also have to have that grit to want to really, we don't want to give up. I can help them get there, but they also got to want that as well.
Could you interject a little bit about, you mentioned adoption and this, we don't have to go too deep into that, but I mean, how does a parent who adopts a child who then has a child that is in with some of these circumstances that you're talking about, children, they're not bad. They just have things going on that cause them to, I guess, react in ways that sometimes aren't the way we want it to. So can you talk a little bit about that? If there's somebody that's adopted a child, or maybe somebody listening knows somebody who adopted a child and they're having a struggle with it?
Yes, I would love to. Adoption is, I'm very keyed into the adoption world. I created the programs that I use basically to help adoptive families to not disrupt kids. And a lot of parents, when I first started getting adoptive parents, some of them had adopted from other countries. They had adopted at birth, or the kids were very young, so they weren't expecting, I guess, the same level of problems that we might see with kids that are in foster care. But the behaviors were still happening because it has to do with their attachment and how that trauma, even if it was in utero, affects their brain. And I started really doing a lot of research on how the brain is affected by stress and trauma and differently wired kids. So a lot of kids that have been adopted, there's a primal wound, basically, a trauma that happened that they might not even remember. And then some kids have had trauma that they do remember. If you do an older adoption, I adopted my son when he was 12. So I knew he
Wow.
had a lot of history, and I knew we didn't have very much time and to do all these things. And I was already working with families. That's how I even met him. And so I was able to, from the start of him coming into my home, we did all the things that I tell parents to do. And it was hard. It was really challenging. You're tired in a different way than you are. It's like having a newborn as far as being tired and having to be right there and hands-on and coming around everything. And I don't think that there's a lot of really good preparation that parents get before they adopt. They are told that, yeah, there might be trauma, there might be some of these things. And some parents that have been foster parents, they know, but there's a lot we can do that can help now that really affects the kids for later. And so even if parents are at the place where they're like, we can't keep our other kids safe, and it's very difficult when biologically you're choosing over this child that you brought into your home and helping him or her, and then being very concerned about your biological children that were basically fine before all of this happened and how that affects them. And so helping parents with post-adoption is huge. And I feel like that's really our whole system of adoption in our country and other countries as well is really lagging. Like once parents adopt, a lot of time all the services that they had they go away. All the help that they had as a foster parent, which may not seem like much, but it really is a whole team of people. They go into the background, and you may have some new people, but you don't have what do I do about this? And the state sometimes is quicker to come in and just take that child out of the home. And they will sometimes, if you just abandon that child, it can affect your biological children. CPS may come in and also remove the other children. And so
Wow.
this post-adoption piece is really a struggle. And we have less and less parents that are willing to step up and adopt. adoption has dropped like 90% for international adoptions. And yet there's still hundreds of thousands of kids that need homes. We need people to know what to do and how to help these children to get through their childhood and adolescence and to be able to take their place in society. I was adopted. I'm glad my parents didn't give up on me and helped and presented me with that opportunity to grow and to have a family and to develop. I don't think I would be where I am if they hadn't done that.
When my mom was in high school, had two children out of wedlock, and I didn't know that until I was in my 40s. So I have just met, just in the last few years, my adopted brother, who is just the most incredible relationship we have. I'm so grateful to God for that. And then my sister, I did not meet. She passed away a few years ago, but yeah, thank goodness for that. And my brother, of course, he didn't love the idea that he was adopted out, but thank God he had really great parents, just as I'm sure you do too. Well, I want to pause for just a moment and say two things. Number one, if you are listening to this and somebody on a national network, a national TV network, I'm not kidding. If you know anyone of influence anywhere, we need to get Michelle on every national TV news show, every national platform. She needs to be doing a TED Talk. Anybody who knows anyone, this is so important what she's talking about. And the second piece to this, Michelle, it's really speaking to me right now that I'm hearing in a different way is I always talk about people picking a niche that they know and that they have lived. And when you came to me, it was like, I'm a therapist or again, take care of children. I do this, I do that. And I have adopted a child, but you have just described it to me in a way that is different than I'm sure you said it to me before, but I just heard it differently. And now I see you as not only the expert, but like if I was going to reach out to you, you're a woman who has literally done what I want everybody who chooses a niche, I'm like, it has to be your lived experience. And so I was thinking it's really your lived experience in your career. And again, I knew you'd adopted a child, but this is your lived experience in your day-to-day life. Like you really completely embody the identity of a mother who has struggled with that, not only, personally, but also to just be able to support the parents in a different way. That is incredible.
When I first started working with kids that had challenging behaviors, it was the kids. Like I went to a camp for kids that had been abandoned, abused, that were in foster care. And when that bus of kids showed up, my first thought was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. And it floored me because I think I spent most of my childhood, like my dad was very much, that's in the past. We're moving forward, we're moving forward, we're moving forward. And so I was very disconnected from my own adoption story. Like I didn't really want anybody to know that I was adopted. I just wanted to fit in and be normal and this is my family and all of that. And then I saw those kids and it changed me. I spent the next year trying to figure that out for myself, the things that I learned in working with those kids, what that meant for my children, because at that time I had my 5 kids. I hadn't adopted my son yet, but I just was like, that physical reaction I had meeting those kids, like I just wanted to hug them all. So when I first started, like it was really to help the parents to understand, like these are not bad kids. They've had these things happen to them and it's coming out in their behaviors, all this trouble and struggles they're having inside. And then it quickly also was like, but what do we do about it? Because we don't want holes in the wall and people being afraid and older kids teaching younger kids, to swear and all the things.
Wow. Well, so much good work that you do and have to do. So, Michelle, when you came to me on our first call, you'd already written a book. You'd already had years and years of experience. You already had an email list. You already had a website. You already had basically virtually everything that I would have said, do this and this. And yet you came and you were like, I need to shift what I'm trying to do. Because again, you were doing like, I don't want to say local, but you were known in your state. And now you're trying to go on a larger, like broader audience of how do I get out of my state essentially and reach the world with what I have to do. Is that what brought you into my space?
Yes, yeah, because I felt like I had all those things. I have a YouTube channel, I have videos I do every week, and yet I just felt like I wasn't reaching my people. the
Yeah.
parents. It was
Yeah.
like, how do I get in front of them? And I wanted somebody that would take me through step by step. And I remember saying to you, I need somebody to hold my hand. Like I can do a to-do list, but there's something that still like needs to happen where I know how to like, I think some of it too, when you're working alone, it's hard
Yeah.
to know to trust yourself. Like I could trust myself to have the idea to send out an email, but I needed that push from a coach saying, you're going to send out 5 emails. Don't worry that you're not hassling them. Here's how we're going to do it. And also presenting the model of, I love the idea of the business boutique and just, I want it to be nice. I want it to be classy. And so I feel like that was really well modeled. I had taken a couple of your free webinars, so I knew a little bit who you were and had been following from a distance, I guess. And I
Yeah.
was just like, no, I need help. I need to hire somebody. This Debbie's the person. So
And we should say that the exciting news is you know well and good that what you do works virtually as well as in person because you've done it.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for anybody that has a business, like when it feels like it's so slow or you feel like you hit these obstacles and it pushes you a different way, I really feel like it's divine guidance, really. There's a lot of things that I've tried that hasn't worked, but it's also kept me from going in a direction that I think I wouldn't have liked ultimately.
Mm.
And so sometimes those things are like bumpers that keep us in the lane of where we're supposed to be. But those challenges are really hard when you're like, yeah, but I still need to just have clients.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, let's be honest for a moment. There's many times, no matter how committed you are to your niche, where you do want to throw up your hands and be like, okay, like I used to have a business, actually used to have a career, I should say, not a business. But people say to me often, like, it was so easy because the people just came to me. Now I have to like find the people, like I just was in my office and my calendar got filled up with people. Right now it's different. And there's a lot of times in that, I don't want to say beginning stage because you're well established, but while you're out there navigating where you're like, what in the world am I doing? Recently, you came to a call if you want to share about, you were like, I think I'll have a career change and I live on a ranch.
Like I'm just going to raise chickens. I can sell eggs.
I mean, honestly, I want to validate for anybody that's listening. That is such a true, valid experience and emotion. And Michelle also mentioned that you want to have somebody, while she's a brilliant woman who can write emails and do all that stuff, there is this piece where you feel like it's really hard when you're on an island by yourself and your spouse can't really help you and your kids can't really say, and you just want somebody else to say, like, does this make sense? Like, why am I not getting a response and what should I expect? And because you do feel out like some days are like, what am I doing? Right? It's not going the way that I thought I saw it online that it should go.
And I think too, this is the other benefit I've had in working with you is at first it feels like nothing is working or everything is this way. It's very like a glob. But then as you start going through the steps and seeing things move a little bit, then you realize, oh, I don't have a problem with this. Like I'm getting good open rates, but I'm not getting this level of commitment, or people are watching or joining my Instagram, but how do I get engagement? So
Yeah.
you start being able to see the pieces where you can make adjustments instead of just feeling like the whole thing is a disaster and I just need to chuck it all and do something else. Instead, it's like, oh, I just need to work on, like, I remember realizing after we did the summit that I needed to work on my calls after when people
Yeah.
call to talk to me. I thought I was fine because with the clients that I had before, I mean, I could take a parent that was like, there's no way I'm going to do this program and move them through that, especially when they're getting it for free, basically, because they had Medicaid. And I knew how to talk to them and help them in that moment. And I had to look at these other clients of like, what do they really need from me right now? And how can I be clear and how can I help them with their questions that they have, which are different. And, I had to really listen to what you were saying about that because I think it was just something I needed to tweak.
So I want to talk about your Instagram success because one of the things that we do is we have a social media challenge a couple times a year. We're getting ready to start one again, and Michelle was in the one in January. And it was interesting because like she just took it and went and didn't even really do what we were even telling her, went out and now all of a sudden like found something that worked for her. And you went from 400 followers to like 20 something thousand followers on Instagram in no time. And like practically everything you were doing was going viral. And I remember Thais and Thais is our mindset coach that works with us inside the program, having a conversation about your stuff. And we were like, we're going to have to talk to Michelle about this. There's this balance between she's so excited and so thrilled over what you're doing. And we have to delicately say, okay, but I think we need to change the angle of it a little bit. So we had just a brief conversation that actually you may not even remember me saying, I think we're not actually calling out people and telling them really like what you were doing was great. And so what's interesting about it is it's just like kids, like you hear something when you're ready to hear it, or it comes to you. And you came to a call a couple weeks ago and you're like, listen, I need to change my Instagram because now I realize that what I'm doing is entertaining, but it's not getting like I grew this wild following, but it's not getting the end result that I want. So that's the kind of tweaking that sometimes when you're by yourself, you don't even see that. You're just thinking like, why isn't Instagram working? And yet it is working. It just needed a shift.
Yeah, and also like just I think movement is really important. So when you make the decision to hire a coach or you make it to try something or to accept a challenge,
Yeah.
that movement I feel is really positive and helps us no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those kind of movements that really made a difference the first part of the year and kind of the end of last year, where I was just like, okay, I started feeling more confident that this was my space.
Yeah.
And then I started being more bold in that space. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I had all those people following that then I could even know the next questions to ask. Like,
Yes.
okay, they're following, but why aren't they engaging?
Yes.
And then people were signing up for, I have a free parent guide
Mm-hmm.
that they, you know, there's probably been over 100 people since the first of the year that have gotten that parent guide. But then what happens to them? Like, where are they? So then you look at, okay, what are they getting after that? And what emails are they receiving? And then being able to ask questions. It's interesting, not there's nobody is following through yet, but also nobody is quitting. Like nobody's unsubscribing from the email
Uh-huh.
list. They may not be opening the emails, but they're not unsubscribing. And that's been interesting because I think sometimes that's our fear. Like, oh, if I really start talking to these people and really give them a lot of emails and content and come work with me, they're just going to quit. And I fully expected, like, okay, the people that don't want this are going to quit, but they're not quitting.
Uh-huh.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
another question. Like, okay, so they're not quitting, but they're not signing up either. Like, how do we? So it just keeps evolving, but the momentum of that is so encouraging. And that Instagram growth, like, I know it did something for me
Yeah.
more than anybody else because after years of feeling like there's 30 people that maybe are getting this and that's it. It was hundreds. And even
Yes.
now I still get probably another 100 clients every couple weeks, or not clients, but
Followers.
followers.
Yeah.
But also like I started really looking at like this is my audience. And even if they're not here for the parenting content, they're just here for the entertainment, I can still give both. And if they don't
Yes.
like it, it's okay. And so it's made me more bold, which I feel has also made me more bold outside of Instagram to be able to say, this is my space, this is what I know. And honestly, like speaking in the summit and your encouragement to speak on what you know, speak about what you could talk about all day long,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can do this, you
Uh-huh.
know, and then it gives you that boldness, like, well, I could do this anywhere. Like I could do this on TV, or I could write
Yes.
another book about this, or I could all of that. So
Yeah. And that's the sweet spot that I try to get people in. Like, don't try to be something you're not. And again, the level of you knowing is not just doing it in your career, it's you living it. It's your lived experience in life. So, yeah, you could be talking about this forever and ever. So, I'd love to talk about mindset for a moment because we've danced around that. But how important do you feel like managing your mind as a solopreneur on the island by yourself while you're working on, seeing things that are working and yet the cash isn't cha-chinging in the cash register as much as you want it to. How do you manage what you're thinking around that, or what comes up for you?
It actually takes a lot of management. It's not, I don't know if it comes easily for some people, but I'm not around any other businesswomen that say that it comes easily. It's
Yeah.
something that you have to think about a lot. Is so different than just going to work for somebody
Yeah.
and even being successful in someone else's company. Like you have to really realize if that this is different than that. And I think the managing for me, like it's been on a lot of different levels. Like I have to keep in mind what it is I really want in order to keep the company where I want it, because there's other ways. I know I used to joke with this colleague I had that did this similar work. And I would tell him, there's way more fun ways to work with kids than this. Like that was when I was going in the home and getting cussed out and stuff. It's like I do equine therapy too. It's way more fun, right?
Yeah, right, for sure.
But keeping the mindset of this is where people really need me and believing, like you have to really believe all the way through you
Yeah.
that people need what you have and they can't get that if they can't see you. And
Mhm.
so whether you like yourself on camera or
Mhm.
not, or hate your voice or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you have something that people need, they can't find you if they can't find you. And
Yep.
so there was a lot of that. And then also I had wrapped my mind around that when I'm doing a YouTube video, when I'm doing speaking at a conference or, even on Instagram or Facebook or anything, I look at all of that like that's my opportunity to talk to people, to coach. So I stopped telling myself like I don't have any clients. It was like, no, you have clients. You have about 15 to
Thousands
30.
of them.
Yeah, 15 to 30 that watch YouTube and hundreds more that see it. And
Yeah.
those are your clients. And that's who you're talking to. And that helped me. That changed my mindset a lot. It kept, because I don't like feeling stuck. I don't like people to feel stuck
Yeah.
in their life. And I don't want to feel stuck either in my business. And then the last thing I think that and I still am working on this one a lot, is just our mindset about money and being successful, especially as women. I have all my life equated with you work hard and you get paid. You work hard and you get paid. You work hard and you get paid. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind working hard. It's just also having to change my mind shift about, is success all about money? And is it okay if I'm successful? And a lot of head games around it that I didn't even know I had. I just thought
Mhm.
I'm good with money. I manage my money, but the challenge of, is it okay for me to have more, and charging people and all of that? Like there's a reason I think for a lot of my adult life, I did things where people didn't have to pay at all. I ran a
Wow.
nonprofit.
Yes.
The kids got these amazing camps for free. The things that I've done, even when I did Medicaid, it was like, I knew they were getting it for free. And then I could rise above it, right? Like I'm going to give them the best thing they could ever get, and that they're not paying for it. So they don't value it as much. So having that expectation is like, oh, am I good enough? If I'm charging, it's like, yeah. So
It's so funny the things that you don't even know that in a million years would come up like that, charging a premium price and then having this conversation with yourself, or awareness of like, wow, I never thought about the fact that I thought everyone got everything for free, even though you were being paid and somebody was paying. And then now going to, yeah, ask for the money for yourself from a private individual that's paying you cash, right? I'm sure that's part of
yeah,
like, they can't
yeah.
use insurance, they're paying me directly.
And yeah, it's caused a growth in me,
Yeah.
because there's less expectations on you if you know that somebody didn't have to pay. It's like they can't really, like, who are you to
Yeah,
complain?
yeah. A very high sense of responsibility, which I just have to say for those coaches that are listening, that was something that I struggled with too. One of my strengths from Strength Finders, top 5 strengths, is responsibility. And Michelle, you probably heard me say this, that while that is a great strength to have as an entrepreneur and as a coach, somebody who's helping people grow their business, I'm like, I'm in it with you till the end, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you do it. The problem was, is I was taking it further and I felt so responsible that I was doing work for people. Like I was writing their marketing. I was getting like, here's all your stuff you need to do instead of me empowering people to do it and saying, now look, I am responsible and I'll do my part, but you have to do your part. Kind of what you're saying. Like you can show
Yeah.
up for parents and be your absolute best self, but look, I can't fix this thing for you. You have to want to fix it. So responsibility is good, but it also is bad, right? If you take it too
Yeah. Well, what is it I've heard is our weakness is our greatest strength overused.
far.
And I think the same thing with parents. Like I can have usually I'm working with about 5 parents during one time period, and you have some parents that just everything that you have them do, they do, and then they become more empowered as they do it. And you have other parents that just they're not quite doing it and they're still looking like this isn't working, and you kind of have in that balance of like how
Uh-huh.
much to keep pushing and how much to then I just have to empower you as a person to that you can do this, and that when you're ready, these are the changes that you need to make, and being able to let go and let people do that. And I think that's one of the things I love about what I do, because I am helping the parents to do something that once they have these tools, they can do it. They don't have to keep looking for more and more
Yes.
services for their kids. And that's what kept me like my option before this was to create like a group home where these kids could come and I could help them do better. But I realized that they're going to go home. They're only going to be in
Yeah.
my care for a certain amount of time, whether it's an hour in the office or 6 months in a residential treatment. And we can do great work. But if we don't help the parents to teach the kids and then the kids know it, then they're now we're affecting generations, right? Because we're helping these set of parents, which are also affecting the grandparents and then these kids. I had a kid, this is one of the best things, and I'm sure you've had this too, when people are like, thank you, you helped me so much. But I had a kid that called me about 2 years after I had worked with their family. And it was a tough family situation, single dad and drug and alcohol abuse. And this girl called me and she said, I just wanted you to know that you changed my life forever. Like I graduated from high school and I didn't get into any more trouble. And I know how I want to parent my kids now.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it's just so powerful, right? When people know, now I know how to do this and now I can do it. It's like watching your kids be able to go do their life.
Wow. Boy, this is bringing up a lot for me, Michelle, because a lot of people don't know this either, but I was raised in a messy mess in my life. And I mentioned the two children that my mom had in high school, and it was a bunch of chaos. And I ended up getting raised by my grandmother and my aunt and passed around. But it's exactly what you're saying. You have two paths you can take. Either you rise up and you're like, I'm going to be the best mom, I'm going to be the best grandmother, I'm going to be the best everything, or else you're just mad at the world. And so the fact that you create that change for people, I'm so grateful for the people that influenced me to see you are the person who changes what's happened for generations, and you don't have to have it be that way. So,
Yeah.
wow, Michelle, you're actually helping kids and grandkids and of the people, the kids that you take care of, even whether the parents change or not. That's the thing is my mom and dad weren't changing any way, which way about it, because they weren't taking any responsibility, but I was changed. And so I could change everybody that comes after me. And that is, wow,
Yeah.
such good work.
Yeah.
Such,
I feel the same. When I had my kids, like this is a
it
giant
stops here.
redo. Yeah. Yeah. I get to raise these kids like and my daughter even said something recently, my oldest daughter, she's in her 30s, and she said, we never doubted that you loved us. And she said,
Yeah.
and I can understand now as a parent that you didn't grow up with that. You didn't
Uh-huh.
grow up just knowing that these
Yeah.
people loved you.
Yeah.
And she said, and that's just huge. And I think I never wanted my kids to have any doubt about that. There was
Yeah.
no like, I'm leaving you if you don't come follow me, because that actually happened in my life. So, I
Yeah.
wasn't going to say that to my
Yeah.
kids. So
Yeah.
I wanted them to emotionally, like their emotional well-being was really important to me and their sense of security. And now they get to do it with their kids.
Yes, so good. Michelle, when we first started talking, I remember one of the changes that I feel like maybe you made, and I'd love to have you share about this, was with your marketing message. I thought that when you first started and you, again, you had a beautiful website, you'd written a book, like you're an expert. I didn't need to teach you any of this. You know what you're doing. But I thought that your message was too soft. I thought you weren't, I like to teach people like we have to punch them in the gut with what it is. Like you have to say the reality, like you're scared to go to sleep because you have a violent child in the house. You're not sure who, like you need to say the things out loud that somebody's not saying. Do you feel like, would you say that might have been something for you that's changed in the way that, when you said I show up differently in my business, do you think that had something to do with it?
Oh, for sure. Because I do think that over the years, especially as a counselor, you're very like whoever comes to me, and all counselors will say, like, I love to work with these kind of people. And so I had a good idea of who my ideal client was, but I didn't really know like, how hard to push on it. And then I would have parents that were like, well, I didn't adopt my child. Like, is that okay? So you kind of, I feel like it got very like, I'll help anybody. Even though I was saying like, I help parents that have challenging kids, I think the definition of what challenging was had softened a lot.
Yes, I agree. That is right. After I talked to you, I was like, no, you got to say it. I mean, the reality of what is really going on to get people's attention.
Yeah, yeah. And that's helped me to feel like I am an expert in this
Yes.
field. Like I do feel like I could help any parent. I feel like I could
Mhm.
help people in general, with
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I love
Yeah.
to do that. But in this realm of this, my piece here is like I'm getting, and it started with you telling me that, almost like giving me permission
Yeah.
to own this piece of property of
Yeah.
this is what I do the best. And I've known it for a long time. Like when I've worked with families where there's really not like a lot of stuff going on, it's like a little bit of help. That's fine. But what really lights me up is like when
Yes.
it's something nobody feels like they can solve, and parents are just like, and you see this change, and this kid is not going to get sent away. They're going to be able to stay in their home, and the
Ah,
family can go to sleep at night,
yes.
and the kids go to sleep at night. That's amazing too.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Wow. So when you, in the last few months, let's talk about the last few months. In the last few months, you have spoke at our summit, which was incredible, right? You have started emailing a lot. Like you said, you've realized that you need to learn how to navigate those conversations with people, not consultations, but conversations with people. You understand your social media shift, which was from zero to like wildly successful. What else do you feel like has changed in your business, and what do you see ahead besides another summit, which we're so grateful for?
I think a lot of it is I'm not wondering if this is what I should be doing or not. I'm more solid about there are some things that aren't working yet, and maybe that word yet is one
Yeah.
of the keys, but
Yeah.
the confidence that I will get there. And if I
It's
can't get
inevitable.
there, I have you and Thais to ask, like, okay,
Mhm.
I need some clients, or I need this, or I need that. And it's helped me, I think, to just be really solid about like in this field that I am like, and yeah, I have this book, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do with it? Because
Yeah.
I am really good at doing all the things. And then I want people to just notice that I did this great thing. But they're not. I have to push more for that. And so it's given me the confidence. I feel like, especially this, like I always set up a bunch of goals at the beginning of the year, but I think that last month, after the end of the first quarter, I wrote down the things that did happen in the first quarter, because it's really easy when you have these goals to think this didn't happen. But
Yeah.
it was like, so I wrote down the things that did happen this first quarter, especially the first that hadn't happened before. And now that's given me a place to move forward to. And I feel more solid about really going after reaching, I'm going to have to put myself out there in front of these agencies and in front of these people that are nationally supporting adoptive parents and
Yes.
things like that. So
Wow, so much good stuff to do. Michelle, before we wrap up, what would you want us to know about you, about your work? We'll have all your links Again, I'm just begging anyone that's listening, if you know somebody, if Michelle could be on your podcast, if she could be on your YouTube channel, if she could be on your stage, your Zoom stage, whatever it is, what she has to talk about, honestly, it is life-saving. For you change a child that their whole life goes an entirely different direction. I mean, you didn't take care of me, but that's what I feel like happened to me. Look at what I've created because I got the help that I needed. So, but Michelle needs the place to stand up and talk about this. Again, she's one person out there in this world doing it. And I know it's inevitable that, like, you're going to be on every show that there is talking about this. But, anybody who knows how to get her there faster would be amazing for a connection. So we'll leave all that there. But what else would you like us to know, Michelle?
I mean, that if people know doors that can open that up so that more people, more families can get help, that it gives me a voice to, or, a way in there to talk to more people. That is really awesome. And I think the other thing is for individual parents that are listening, or grandparents or whatever, like, I think sometimes we think if somebody has a book or they have things going on, it's like, oh, they won't have time for me. But this is what I love to do. So I will make time for you. If you want to have a conversation, get on my radar, message me, let's set that up, and let's do it. I'm not too busy to talk to individual parents. I want to do that, and I want to help people get started. There's nothing good that comes from waiting and parenting. Your kids are going to get older no matter what you do. So.
There's nothing good that comes from waiting and parenting. That's true. And you're not too busy. It doesn't matter how successful you are, you're not too busy ever. When you're doing something that matters, you're never too busy to help somebody, guide them, lead them, something. So, Michelle, thank you so, so much. Well, what an honor it's been to coach you. And I mean, we're not done. I got you for another year. You just extended your time with us, which I'm so grateful about. And you're right. In the beginning of the conversation, you talked about, like, you didn't use the word optimize, but we are at that stage where it's like, okay, people are opening the emails, they're not unsubscribing, but they're not taking that next step. What do we do? And yes, we look at those micro changes that we can make, but also, just for everybody listening, you have people that are going to be watching you. Every one of us does. Michelle, me, any niche. You have people that are, for a long time, they're not unsubscribing because they know, like, I need to keep that lady's name in my inbox for a reason, right? And there'll be that day when all of a sudden it feels like everything's working out for me. Well, no, everything you did just, like, compounded. So that's the stage that you're at, Michelle. And I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to be in this thing with you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here too.
Yeah. Well, you guys, thank you so much. Michelle, have a beautiful day. Connect with her again. I'll leave all of her links, and connect her with anyone. And let's look forward to you in the next summit as well. And thanks, guys, for listening. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful week.
Thank you.